Hey, yo, Reaper, those kids out there seem mad thirsty. You got something for them to drink?
Yo, we could wet up 2 cups of blood.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, it's great to see everyone again.
Virtually.
Hear you? No, not even. Well, thanks anyhow.
Well, this is DJ Velicet, aka Velocinate.
And I'm Mechno. Mechno, just Mechno, or Paul, either one.
Okay.
Depending on what governmental agency you work for.
Important criteria.
Yeah.
So, we're back again, and it is September. It is mid-September 2019. Bunch of stuff was happening this month.
My calendar's out of control.
Oh, that too. But I mean, as far as media, games, all kinds of shit is happening right now. It's like back to school and fall new stuff and getting ready for October, Halloween.
Which actually, I overheard some people talking, and they were like, they're starting with Halloween already, and then as soon as that's over, they start talking Christmas, and it's disgusting. So capitalist. And I was like, they're way different tiers. Like, getting excited for Halloween because you need 2 months because you're fucking making something. You're not going shopping. Well, you might be. However you choose to hollow the ween, as it were, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But I think as soon as we cross into September, it's fucking Halloween season now.
Yeah.
You sound thirsty.
I am thirsty.
I'm concerned because you sound thirsty.
I'm always thirsty.
Nice.
But, so we're doing something a little bit different today. We don't have any cocktails. We don't have any recipes. What we have are some spirits. Some spirit reviews, some new spirits, new to us. And, one's new, and there's some old favorites we're going to compare and contrast. So, what do we got on tap here?
So what we have, while Absinthe was not available in the United States, a lot of the goth community and Absinthe appreciators sort of migrated to Chartreuse. And Chartreuse is actually, here's a little trivia, the color is named after the spirit.
Yeah.
So, like, when you think of the green of Chartreuse, it's named after the alcohol. So we have the traditional green Chartreuse. The Chartreuse? Yeah.
The normal, the more common Chartreuse, which is we've had around for 3-4 years. I think the two of us have been familiar with it.
It's potent, but at the same time, it's very pleasant. Like, now when I drink it, I am prone to thinking that it is like watered down or something because I'm just acclimated. It's like, I could drink this a pint of this, no problem.
You have something about your palate is
I can't smell a damn thing, so my palate's really like,
it's tuned to accept like very potent alcohol.
I guess, yeah.
Because like you put it in other people's mouth, they'll just be like, ah, and you're just like, like you have this very placid look on your face as you slowly taste it. It doesn't wig you out.
Well, is Chartreuse like strong? Like, I kind of remember it being strong.
It's pretty strong, yeah. It's like 60%, I think.
Okay. Well, let me. I can actually confirm
that
this.
one's less. That's the yellow one.
Right. Okay. So that's So that's really the gist of it. Is
yes.
We're going to introduce. Okay. The traditional green Chartreuse is 55% alcohol by volume, so 110 proof. But we are going to be doing a tasting this middle of the night, we'll call it. And this is 40%, and it is the yellow Chartreuse.
Right.
Now, by recollection, I tend to recall the yellow being like kind of a sweeter, more like approachable.
It definitely has a sweeter flavor to it. It has a little less of some of the stronger herby notes. So it's slightly, it's definitely more pleasant. It's more easy to get into than the hardcore green stuff.
Yeah. But speaking of the green stuff, we've talked about St. Lawrence spirits before, and we've had their Absinthe Rouge?
Yes.
Right.
La Fille Rouge.
La Fille Rouge, and now this is the Vurt Absinthe from the same distiller. So this is a traditional green. It's pretty funny. The guy at the liquor store kind of crapped on their red. He was like, it's too harsh. It gives you that in your throat. And I was like, well, hey man, you don't know what you're talking about. All right.
Yeah. No, I thought the red stuff was very pleasant. And
it is nice.
Yeah, good flavor, good smoothness, good everything.
So I just popped the cork. Now, this is my thinking. I'm going to start with the St. Lawrence because this is new to us. I don't want like chartreuse mouth to interfere with the tasting.
Very wise.
So here, give this a whiff. See what you think. It's got a nice nose, I think.
Very intriguing, yeah.
Here, let's see. I'm going to, on mic, pour this, and we'll see how it goes. Oh, boy.
That's,
I don't know. Is that a lot?
That's quite a cup.
Okay. I feel like that's a shot worth, I think.
You need glasses, buddy.
Bro.
I feel like that's 2 shots easy. I'm going to go a little easier.
Okay. Here, I'll cap this up.
There you go.
Okay, that's secure. In the pipe.
It's a little light in color, but that's not necessarily bad.
So we put it over ice, which is not... I don't know if that's technically the way it's done, but... Whew.
Yeah, that's very much a good, full, like, traditional absinthe taste for me. Strong and absinthe.
Yeah.
What's the alcohol content on that, by the way?
It's actually less than the red.
Really?
This one is an alcohol content of 65. So this is 130 proof.
I think, I feel like the red is the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's up there.
It's close. I think well, I should take this with a grain of salt because the person who didn't really know what they were talking about told me this, but they said they thought the red was 70 and this was 65.
At the most, it's 70. I feel like it might also be 65, but we have it upstairs. I can check. But
well,
this is pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
You're more of a connoisseur than me. I've only had like 4 or 5 brands.
I'll go into snob mode for a second. Here we go. It's a not very intimidating bouquet. Like I don't pick up a ton of different herbals in the bouquet. It smells potent and pleasant if you like absinthe. And tasting it, it doesn't have as like, it has an anise element, but it doesn't have like, it's not like you just ate 1.5 pounds of black licorice.
Yeah, and I like that about it.
It's nice. And so what we did, the reason why we went with ice is so that we can, like, low effort, just let it sit and it will louche itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's starting to a little bit already, so.
And when you put water into absinthe, it changes sort of a milky white. And the reason for doing that is the herbal bouquets come out more when the water dilutes it a little bit. I don't know. I've always been one to just, go neat, not ice. But I don't know. I think it's just my weird palate. That's how
fair.
It goes, yeah.
I kind of like how the water can influence the taste that you get on the palate after a little while. So I usually do that, even with whiskeys, which is, some people have problems with that. They just want the like cold rock in it and not dilute it, but
I think they're missing out.
yeah, the changes that it brings I find really interesting. So
Yeah, it brings out some things. Plus, it's not a monotone trip. It's like when you start, you get the first taste of the whiskey, and it's like super, super just whiskey. And then it mellows, and it becomes a friendlier drink the more time you take with it, with the ice. And I think that's a dope way to do it.
yeah, but then at the end of one, you're definitely ready for the next one.
Yeah, well acclimated. There you go. So yeah.
In music news,
Yeah, let's talk about some music.
something finally happened that it's been so long that I've been waiting for that I kind of forgot about it. And then all of a sudden, boom, it was out. And that's the Massive Attack Mezzanine remaster, reissue, re-release that was delayed. I feel like it was delayed since like December of last year or something. It's been ridiculous. It's had like 5-6 different release dates.
So as a musician, do you have a different perspective on that sort of thing? Like when you hear about, oh, it's delayed, can you just like sort of empathize all the stress of like them like somebody being like, we got to get this out, we put a date, and then, whoever is doing the remastering is just like, I'm really not feeling where it is right now, I don't want to let it out.
I don't think the remaster held them up. I think that technical process was complete last year when they first announced. So I don't know what the delay was, because the tracks, once they came out, they're labeled remastered 2018.
Oh, okay. So what is new? Like I have the album as well, but I'm curious what, because you have a PhD in Massive Attack.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Okay, maybe an undergrad study, a work study in Massive Attack. Well, you're definitely more acquainted than I am. So like,
okay.
What do you find that they brought to this release?
I think the bonus remixes are interesting. I'm appreciating those dub-style remixes more and more as I try to listen to them. That's never been a form I've loved in the past, but with these songs, it's like I can see what they're doing, and from a production standpoint, some of the delays and some of the like echo effects they have and the textures that it builds, I don't know, I can just appreciate that more now. In the past, I don't think I had patience for it. So, as an atmospheric, where I know I'm not going to probably hear the vocals, it's just going to be an instrumental, I can get more into that these days for some reason. So I appreciate that stuff. Some of those remixes are pretty good. The record itself, the remastered tracks, I haven't directly compared them to the last release, the what everyone knows and loves. But I feel like I can notice some small differences just hearing them, not next to the old ones. There's little details that there's a lot of sort of not ambient, but quieter noises and little details kind of in the background that I feel are a little more apparent in this one that I've never noticed before. So I'm very happy with it. I feel like once I get the chance to sit down and listen on nice speakers and really pay attention to it, that it'll be very revealing.
I think that if you have already, my amateur impression is if you already had Mezzanine, it will only make you enjoy this release more.
Yeah.
So I think even if this is like your second purchase of Mezzanine, it's still recommended because there's, like you said, there's remixes that are cool, and the nuances that come out that now, like, it's interesting because the technology is like, I feel like when Mezzanine came out, the technology was just like so like nascent. Not to use a stupid word, but I can't think of a better term for like, it was just early stages. Everything was like, it did the thing, but it was really fucking noisy, and like it didn't. You had to fight it in order to, So I think that like actually having more modern techniques and modern equipment, you can get a lot closer to what they wanted the album to be.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that's a factor. I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to even think about, late 90s trying to produce this kind of music, and the way you would do it today has almost nothing to do with what they had to do back then.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, listening to some of these songs again, thinking about that, it's like, Jesus Christ, I don't know how you would reproduce some of this stuff. How I would ever have done it like back then with whatever bullshit synthesizers and electronics that were around. There was digital stuff, digital editing in the computer, but it just wasn't at a great point just yet. That was really the first era of some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's, especially thinking about it like that, it's really incredible. I think most of that record is, certainly some of it's sampled using hardware sampling and playing back, but there's a lot of good musicianship, really good production techniques on that record to get those sounds. So that's the kind of stuff I think about, like how was this done? How do you put this together? How do you get it to sound so cool? And how does it hold up so well? Now, I mean, I'm getting old, so things that are 20, 25 years old, they still sound current to me. Some of them are obviously dated, but I think my perspective on the stuff I grew up listening to is going to be a little skewed. But that record, I feel like, holds up and still sounds great. So, yeah, I'm one of those suckers. I'm going to throw money at it all the time.
Isn't it amusing how much time it takes before you can recognize what a sound of a time period was? Like, during the 90s, I was like, I don't really think there's a way to classify 90s music, and there will never be 90s night, because it's not, it's just so many, it's influenced by so many things before it that it's
there is 90s night.
Right, and now it's, 20, wow, yeah, it's a while past the 90s, like 30 years past the 90s, kind of.
Jesus.
Yeah, right? And I'm finally like, okay, yeah, I see like the themes of the 90s. Like I can see them now only from a distance. So I think that like,
oh, that's how it works for sure. I think you need that distance to, I mean, you just can't tell what's what. Like, coming out of the 70s into
right.
the 80s, people were still wearing bell bottoms in 1981, you know what I mean? Like, little time has to pass before you can recognize where the trends started and stopped and what's what. But I feel like as time goes on, and this ties in with the death of the big music companies, the big record companies, everything splits and fragments more and more, and everyone gets a smaller piece of the big pie. So there's 90s alternative sounds, there's 90s hip-hop, there's 90s,
True.
90s as a whole, there is no whole, there's just 90s
right.
of this and 90s style that, and then you get into the last 20 years, and it just gets even wider. So,
yeah, I wonder if there's going to be, like, just, like, from a promotion angle, I think it's, like, really impossible to think of, like, 2000s night. Like, it just seems like it doesn't really roll off the tongue exactly.
It started happening.
Really?
Like emo, 2000s emo night or whatever. I don't even know what they do there. But
but anyhow, yes. Did you have more to say about
No.
Oh, okay then.
I was going to move on.
Well, speaking of 90s, that, like, to me, the sound of my 90s was definitely Populate Itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I have super mixed feelings about the new, like, Populate Itself is playing
Cold Waves.
Yeah, New York City, I think in just a few days, on the 18th, they're going to be in Brooklyn. And like I feel like a bad friend to Populate itself, because on some level, like, I am like such a super fan, but it makes me really critical because they're missing too many members now. They've swapped in new people who may do a great job of faithfully reproducing the old tracks that are huge, but I feel like it was such a weird group of dudes. Like, everyone, when they split off, did a completely different kind of music. And I feel like that was like tethered birds that lifted the project of Populate itself in such a really cool direction. And now that they're really more geared towards, let's play the old stuff. Like, I feel like it feels... Okay, I'm going to be a total dick to Populate itself for a second. It feels like another fucking Rolling Stones tour. Just stop.
That's fair, you know. It's hard to go through that, you know. There's bands that you love intensely sometimes, or for a certain era, and then there are other stuff you can't stand. And you know, I think it's okay for you to have that perspective on them.
But maybe I'm a curmudgeon. Maybe, you know, I'm stuck in the past and it's not the same Populate itself. Even though they're kind of playing the same fucking songs, but whatever. You know, hey.
Who knows?
Maybe I'm a jerk.
No.
Sometimes.
It's musical preference. It changes, you know?
Well, I'm going to, in part, blame the Absinthe that's getting, like, sweet notes now that it's diluted some. It's quite nice.
It's really pleasant. Like, I was noticing that myself. Let me take another sip.
Feel it?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It just makes it a lot more approachable. So if a 65% alcohol drink is a little too much for you, just add a little water, throw an ice cube or two in it, just let it settle, let it get a little cloudy, and you'll be surprised at how approachable it becomes.
Now, what do you think? Will this burn? Would this catch fire?
Oh, yeah.
Really? I was trying to remember what the...
Like 50%.
Oh,
it'll burn.
Really?
Like if you soak a rag, this is from...
okay, do it.
No, listen.
All right, let's go for it.
There was a
soak
show...
that rag.
Here's some of my nerdy past. So there was a PBS science show called Newton's Apple.
Oh, yeah. I love that show.
Remember Newton's
Apple?
Apple?
It was Canadian, right?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point they showed somebody, I believe it was whiskey, about 50%. They soaked a rag in it and they set it on fire. The alcohol in the mixture will burn, but the water will keep the rag from actually burning.
Oh, cool.
So it was just the fluid that was burning off, the alcohol that was burning off of it. So, yeah.
That's neat. So, okay, yeah, this will burn, probably.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, you bet. Speaking of that which,
new
KMFDM is coming. The album isn't out yet. But
Paradise?
The single Paradise came out a couple days ago.
What do you think? How do you feel about it?
I kind of like it.
Yeah?
I only listened to it once, but I dug it. It was cool. It's if you watch the video, it's very clear what they're talking about, and kind of decrying the rise of the right in the words of your heroes. Yeah, I kind of dig the track. I don't know about the record. It's hard for me to really like KMFDM records all the way through. There's usually a couple tracks that I really like, and a lot of the other stuff I'm not as into. Little hit and miss, but generally, I thought this was a good track.
Nice. I'm looking forward to. I haven't heard it yet.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to it.
I dug it. Yeah, for sure. And I think the album is out sometime in October. I could have that wrong. But I believe the album is also called Paradise, and coming very soon on Metropolis.
Another one.
Yeah. What you got?
Well, I was gonna... Yeah, it reminded me of... KMFDM did a remix for Victor Love for Bitchcraft that was pretty good. And it just, like, it just made me sort of reminisce about how, like, sometimes they they do like amazing, like KMFDM as a whole is really good. Occasionally stuff you don't really connect to, but like having a like conveying a sense of humor in a serious track. It's not like a humor track, but having that sense of humor there is pretty interesting. And I just remember we're just past the anniversary of 9/11, and I saw an Esh as part of Pigface a long time ago, and it was right after 9/11. And he's like, New York, it's not the greatest city, but it's a city. And everyone's like, okay, it's too soon for that, but thanks. Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was kind of a punk thing to do. Like,
yeah.
Like
it's not a mean joke.
At this time when everyone is supposed to be paying like extreme reverence, he was just like, whatever. Yeah. So there's this news, but new music. There is a band that I have been really, really, really liking called Corlyx. And I found I started listening to their new album In2 The Skin. And it's like fantastic, start to finish. Like the whole album is great. And then I listened to their older album, which is called Music 2F2, which is pretty funny. And there's some tracks that remind me of like industrial Britney Spears, which is like, it's harder to sincerely play at the club. Like,
it sounds like it would be up your alley though.
It's cool, but the new album, the In2 The Skin, is really good. It's like best like work that I've like from a new artist that I've heard in a long time. Really good. Like so many tracks are destined to become like club classics.
Okay, so is this a little bit of a heavier or more electronic or?
You know, it's kind of how would I say it? It's definitely industrial, but it's kind of pop electronic industrial, sort of, without being too poppy. Like it's hard to explain, but they're clever lyrics. They have good melody. Like there's a good melody to their stuff, and it's all catchy. I think that my Chimera does not love them. Like, there's this thing where I'm like, oh, I'm going to put this song on. It's so good. And all they can say is, it is catchy. But, like, I feel like that reserved judgment is, like, pretty fucking sick of this track, dude. Mm-hmm. Gotta knock that off, because it's too much.
What's the name of that band again?
Corlyx. So I've actually been talking with them. I'm going to do, like, a mini interview with them. Not really they're going to they promised they're going to give us a station ID for the thing. Like so many others, we'll believe it when we see it.
All right.
But
well, they just don't know how massively influential we are yet.
Tens of listeners.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to do a mini interview talking about little teaser when a band is booked. What do promoters do to make the band like comfortable and make it a good experience? So like I can only say from the promoter side what I try to do, but hearing their feedback of like, you know, like they had towels and that was like really nice. Like that sort of thing.
Cool.
So that should be coming in the future. They've agreed to answer my questions, but I have to write those questions. So
well,
on the cusp.
All right.
I have a few more. What do you have for music? Anything else?
I just have two quickies.
Yeah.
We've talked about CULTTASTIC a lot. They have done a subscription model. We've talked about that a little bit.
They're getting so close.
Right. They actually released the the pre-release of the album. It has like 12 of the 15 tracks. And if you don't want to do the subscription exactly, you can still pre-order the record, and you'll get the additional tracks as they come out, and you'll get the 12 tracks that are available right now. It's exactly like subscribing. So, yeah, that's available, and one of the new tracks dropped, Cat Girl.
Cat Girl, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, yeah, that's now available, so everyone can check that out. I believe it's self-titled, CULTTASTIC.
Right, yeah. Before, like, I've been kind of compiling it into a record. I just called it First Tracks. And I put them in the order that they came out in. But it was interesting that I think that a lot of thought goes into track ordering by the artist. And so it's interesting to see that the order that I had them in is not the final track order for the album. So I'll have to reorder them. Renumber them and move them around a little bit.
Well, you do what you want to do, man. That's the beauty of it.
Right, they can't tell me what to do.
Exactly.
Step off, CULTTASTIC. Don't take that vibe with me.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, this came out a little while ago. Strvngers put out a single called Death is the Only Way Out.
Okay.
Which they also released a video for. It's kind of a long track. It's like 8 minutes. Some of that is some atmospheric noise, and there's kind of a song in the middle, and then there's some outro. And it makes sense in the context of seeing the video. They put some images, that kind of justify that length. But it's $1 on their Bandcamp. It's a pretty good track.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I think that was last month or a little while ago it came out.
Oh, that's cool. Now, would you say this is like a DJ bathroom break classic? Just like this Corrosion?
No, it's not 8 minutes of music. It's like 4 minutes of music and 4 minutes of
outro. That would be the full song. Okay.
It's not. You can't. No, it's not.
Can't do that.
The whole thing is not clubbable.
Oh, okay.
The track itself might be clubbable if you cut out the first and last 2 minutes or 4 minutes. If you trim it, it's fine. Otherwise, you can't trust it.
Okay. We'll throw this song on and hit the bathroom, and then no, what have I done?
No, this Corrosion. That's the one.
Yeah, go for it. That's it's always been there for you. It always will be.
I mean, that's their 11-minute song, but there's plenty of 8-minute sister songs too.
Yeah.
You don't have to play this Corrosion. You can play Temple of Love.
Right. If it's number one, you still have options that are not quite the time commitment.
Yeah, you can still play the extended version of Lucretia, whatever you want.
You're good.
Yeah.
So I'll rapid fire through these. I like there's a new. I didn't do any research on them, which is my bad. But I will say that Dol Ikara, Dolikara, Ikara, Dol Ikara, has Obsidian Ritual that just came out. And more than Susie and the Banshees, she reminds me specifically of Susie's cover of Dear Prudence.
Oh, interesting. That's from when the year or two when Robert Smith was in the band.
Right, yeah. So I thought it was pretty refreshing. I feel like, I'm going to say that my life does not have enough gothic in it. It's got plenty of industrial and EBM, but I tend to just forget about the vital nutrient that gothic post-punk is. And it was refreshing to have that back. It's like eating junk food for a week and finally getting some vegetables. And you feel good. You're like, oh man, I've been really missing out. That's good shit.
Nice.
So that Obsidian Ritual, it's not a really super long record, but it's quite good. And we mentioned Bandcamp, which is not only a real convenient way to consume and find music, but it's interesting. There's this interesting social element to it where if you follow some of your friends, you see the things they're getting, and they sort of inadvertently give you nods. Like our friend Seamus, he just got I'm blowing up his privacy, but he just got the new Cyanotic release.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I should really pick up the new Cyanotic. That's pretty good.
There you go.
but there was just a thing where Rabbit Junk is remastering all of their stuff. And I think, kill me if I'm wrong, but I believe that everything that Rabbit Junk has on Bandcamp is up there for pay what you want. So, it's definitely worth picking up the things as they're remastered. And yeah, my philosophy when I'm buying stuff on Bandcamp is I take the number of people who are making the music and multiply that by $6. Now, granted, if you have you don't really want to spend $30 on an album, but I want to buy a drink for these dudes. For whoever, made the music, I'm like, okay, what will reasonably buy each of them a drink? Because thank you for this album. This is fucking great.
It's a nice way to think about it.
I try.
So every Stoneburner album, it only costs you $6.
Yeah, $6.
Sorry, Steve.
$6. I'll just hand Steve $6 next time I see him.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Stephen Archer, somebody was, we talked about gatekeeping last time.
Yeah.
And somebody posted something on a Gothic group. And they were criticized, immediately criticized for hey bro, this is cool, but I don't really see how this is Gothic. It wasn't an Old Navy ad or something. It was something that was of interest to goths. It may not have been Gothic itself, but it was definitely something that gothy people would be interested in. Mm-hmm. And a bunch of people were flaming him out, and Stephen Archer made a comment. And my comment my reply to his comment was yeah, you got it. I'm in perfect agreement. And then someone else replied to his comment yeah, but it's not really gothy. And then he replied to me as if I was the idiot.
Oh.
So next time I see him, he's going to be oh, you're that dipshit from the Gothic thread.
No, he won't remember.
Nah, probably
He's got
not.
5,000 people vying for his attention at any moment.
He's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
But you know who will remember you? Morris Black.
Me? Or you?
Probably
just
both
in
of us.
general.
Yeah, Brian.
Oh, I got you.
Brian Black Noise.
Yeah,
He's not super huge yet, but he did just have a...
He's on negative gain.
Well, yeah. But
I mean, that's huge.
It is pretty huge, actually.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Worldwide, but still with the nice, you can have a conversation with him kind of vibe. He's actually a really cool dude. He recently just did a remix for Shiv-r's new EP, and it's pretty good.
Cool.
It's pretty dope. I'm a big fan of what Pete Crane does with music. That's the guy behind Shiv-r, and super fan of Brian Black Noise and what he brings. And the combination, it's so interesting when you can hear both of the artists' influence. It's definitely a Morris Black track, while also definitely being a Shiv-r track, and it's a good combo.
Nice.
Yeah. I find that when I'm taking a song that is not goth-industrial and trying to make it gothy-industrial, Shiv-r is one of my go-tos for getting a good rhythm going behind something that's poppy. If I'm doing an on-the-fly mix, Shiv-r immaculately mixes with pop music. Fantastic. Easy.
Nice.
Masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
Yeah. I'm about to... Oh, rheumatoid.
That was an old man type
cough. Well, hey, I've been on, ever since the release of Borderlands, I've been on,
You've been killing your immune
oh
system.
my god, junk food bonanza. When it stayed up, we literally stayed up. Well, when it stayed up, I'm still tired from it. When it came out, we picked it up at 9:01, and then got it set up with a little bit of frustration, but got it set up in the living room. Took 20 minutes to do the download, get it all set, ready to play, and then we played until 6 a.m. And it was we had a Tupperware thing that we called our loot crate, and it was filled with the most vile, sleazy snacks you can imagine. There were Pop-Tarts, there was Count Chocula, and Booberry. There was like some like high class cookies, because at least 50% of my household has taste. There was toasty cheese. There was like, oh my god, wafer cookie. Like seriously, it was like a slob fest, but it was great.
Cool.
Super fun. It was like at 3 a.m, made a pot of coffee and kept going, kept churning. It was great. It was so much fun.
Nice.
People at work knew about my plan to do this, and they were all like, "You are the most put together adult we have ever met. We are so impressed." And I was like, "Absolutely." So yeah, did you get it?
I did. I pre-ordered it, and Amazon shipped it, so it arrived on Friday yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Haven't spent a ton of time with it, but yeah, I really dig it. It's fun. It's got the same like fun wacko spirit as before. Some improvements, some additions, and so far I'm really digging it.
One thing I will say, it's the only criticism. I think that they developed it for the PS4 Pro, because there's some stuff that I do when specifically it gets really hairy if you're playing split screen 2-player and someone opens the menu. Like everything like grinds to a halt and everything gets stuttery and the menu takes a long time to come up. And I think that it's a theory right now that like they intended it to be played in 4K, like with the flagship PlayStation. Maybe even anticipating PS5, like that's when it will really cruise. But that's, I really don't have any complaints. Even doing split screen, even having split screen, I give them mad props for. When everyone else is doing like network play only for multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried the split screen yet. Split screen in the last one was kind of could get a little hard on my eyes after a while, but I'm old. I don't know.
The text is pretty damn tiny.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'll see. I'll be playing with my wife soon, and she just got into it. She's playing the gunner with the big mech. Just thought that was fun.
Moz?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's a good sign that it was so difficult to pick a character.
Yeah.
Because they're all really strong. The only one that, like, I didn't have a hard time, like, letting go was the kind of conventional... He's kind of a handsome Jack kind of dude. He does, like, I can't remember what his name is, but he's just not as not as memorable as the others.
I was actually kind of interested in him. But the fact that he looks kind of like C. Thomas Howell turned me off.
A little bit, yeah. Do you think that the FL4K is related to the CL4P?
Has to be. Flack and clap, yeah.
That's interesting. I like to think that Flack is just like a really augmented claptrap.
Yeah, basically some of the same parts. Gotta be.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, Chimera has already started putting together her Flack cosplay.
Oh, yeah?
Like she wants to do like a full-on...
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That's going to be special.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice.
It's a dope jacket, too. I think... Are you playing Flack?
Yeah.
Yeah, good character design.
Yeah, pretty damn cool.
So what, other than Borderlands, what are you playing these days?
Well, I haven't played it yet, but I've watched my wife play some of it. There's a game just came out again. September is the month of a lot of releases. It's part of a new... It's, I guess, the first installment of a new series. It's called the Dark Pictures Anthology. So the first game is called Man of Medan, which I forget the name of the developer, but it's the same developer as Until Dawn.
Okay.
Which is like a sort of a game where you control characters sort of in a horror movie, and you're trying to figure out what's going on and trying to keep them alive, and you have to make decisions and explore and, stuff like that. I think this game is an improvement over the last one. It's shorter. It's a lower priced game. I think it's about $30 to get it new. And it is. It doesn't have as long a duration, but the story's pretty good. You don't know exactly what's going on. They don't rely on a lot of jump scares. What they do really, really well is great atmosphere. Really great just sound and tension building. And then they'll throw a scare at you when you're prime for it.
Oh, I like it.
Like, they're really good at the pacing and the way they put that together. So you kind of have to unravel exactly what's going on, and you kind of think in one thing, and then it might go in a different direction. Pretty interesting. And they break it up with little snippets of talking to I forget what they call them. Oh, this is the worst review ever.
No, it's cool. Psychologist?
No, oh yeah, right. There was a psychologist in the first one. So they replaced that with, the first one meaning Until Dawn. It wasn't actually this series. This is the first one of this series, and there's like a storyteller, I think is what he's called.
Okay.
So, serves sort of a similar role, but a little bit more developed as his own character, more personality, and he'll give you a hint if you want a hint, and I don't know, good sort of creepy essence, sort of a, not the Crypt Keeper, but sort of serves that function. He breaks up the chapters of the game a little bit, and really well done.
Cool.
The interesting thing is, of course, Until Dawn was a one-player experience only, I believe.
Okay.
This game has like a party mode where you can play a little bit, and then you pass the controller to a friend at certain points when it tells you to.
Oh, that's cool.
Or maybe you're using both controllers to control different characters, something like that. And it's actually, I think the characters change in that mode, so you don't know exactly if it's going to go the same way. So I'm going to try that soon and see what that's all about. So I think there's some good, for $30, I think it's a good value. And if you're looking for something spooky for October, I would say pick it up. Can't go wrong.
That's really cool. I mean,
yeah.
that totally, just your mention of the price point reminds me of, if you're a fan of the Castlevania series, the original creators of Castlevania have moved on to a project called Bloodstained, I believe.
Okay,
I've been drinking. So I believe that it's called Curse of the Moon. And it is the game that Castlevania would be if made with modern ability. Like it's not, there's an Easter egg that has like an 8-bit nightmare in it, but for the most part it's sort of updated graphics, but it's still like interesting, like side scroller, run and gun, jump and shoot kind of thing where you pick up more abilities and whatnot in the same like sort of alchemical Dracula paranormal presentation, and it's amazing. This game is really good, and it's around the $30 price point. It's for PlayStation and Switch and probably Steam, because everything's for Steam.
Yeah.
But really good.
Nice.
Yeah, like have you ever played the Castlevania games?
Not since Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, which I still have the music to in my head. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun game. It was one of the complicated, weirdo Nintendo games from way back in the day that I could actually get behind and beat. Like Metroid, no fucking clue how to get through that game. But Simon's Quest, I figured it out.
I've beaten Metroid, and like,
whoa,
it makes me like look at kids these days and just be like, you don't know what a fucking hard game is.
Nope.
Like in my day, like it was punishingly hard.
Yeah.
Like you die and you go back to the fucking beginning.
Yeah, with no clue.
That's it. You got nothing. It was like you were so far into the game before it gave you like this long ass code that was your save code that would bring you back to where you were. Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like they call that genre, the whole genre is called Metroidvanias.
Okay.
So in the Metro, like Axiom Verge is another Metroidvania game. It's sort of like same format, sort of. But this is really good, and they do a couple like interesting 3D effects where the world is kind of turning. So that's like beyond the Metroidvania platform, but it's quite good. I think it's also not super cripplingly hard. Like it's fun. I guess like developers decided that if they make something too hard, it's just not fun anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Sekiro. Sekiro's a beautiful game that is so fucking hard.
Yeah.
I'm old. I don't have like child reflex speeds anymore. Come on. I can't do that shit.
You got DJ reflexes.
That's I invested all my skill points there. Come on. I actually had my coworker who's 25 be like, oh, you couldn't beat that boss. Are you playing with like maracas or something? Is this like you using a fishing controller or something to play? And I was no, I just can't. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm kind of dyslexic. So when it's like, when triangle is the right thing to hit, I don't hit triangle. I hit like random. I don't know what to do. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you there.
Bullshit. Now I'm angry. Anyhow. Oh my god.
Well, if you're angry, why don't you go with the next... What else? What do you want to talk about angry?
Well, gee. It's not really it's totally not an angry topic at all. But recently I have seen 2 movies that I would consider of note.
Okay.
I saw It 2, and I saw Ready or Not.
Okay.
Have you seen either of them?
I saw It Part 2, Chapter 2, excuse me. Yeah. I enjoyed It Chapter 2 pretty well up until some parts of the end. What I liked about it were some of the digital effects and just some of the effects work that was done. I thought with a story like that, they could really go places and do the sort of distorty things that just wouldn't be appropriate for any other kind of movie. So we got to see some really novel things, and some of the bigger set pieces, some of the lighting effects, just what they did were just really beautiful and different. So that's what I liked about it. I didn't like the presentation of the final form at the end. I thought I thought it was a strange hybrid, and I didn't care for it.
Yeah. Now, were you a fan of the book? Did you read the book?
I don't think I think I read parts of the book, but I don't think I ever read the whole book.
It's a funny thing, because I heard about the book. My mother loves Stephen King, has read everything.
Okay.
And so she told me about the book. And so I knew the general plot line, like the general flow. And that was enough to have me slightly disappointed in the way that they handled stuff with It Chapter 2. Coming out of the theater, I gave it a pretty good rating. I thought it was really good. There were some things that were very, very good. Like from the very beginning, it starts with a really visceral, like, you feel horrified both by human behavior and, like, they followed up bad human behavior with the presence of Pennywise. And it was really well done. It got you, like, super amped up about, like, oh shit. Which actually it's catching a lot of flack for that. Like they start the movie with some like horrible gay bashing.
It's right out of the book, though.
I didn't, that wasn't in my mother's synopsis.
Well, I've heard that's right out of the book. Like,
so yeah,
that's a literal, very good translation of what was written in that part.
So it was, it was a great start, but yeah, towards the end it was like. When they mentioned a certain thing about how they were, like, what their plan was to defeat it, I got hopeful that it was going to veer towards the book a bit more than it actually ended up doing. But I think that they almost sort of safeguarded against it when they were, like, picking on the author about like how the ending was shitty and how like you're really bad at writing endings and stuff.
Yeah, that was cute.
So like I think okay, it's not that easy to write, and like it was okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was all right. I think I almost preferred the first movie a little more than this one.
You're not alone. I've heard a lot of people say the first one was a little stronger.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad film though. It was good. I think I would still take it over the old one. A little more character development of the adults, I think, would have been good. I think a lot of people agree on that. But overall, as I said, some cool stuff, and maybe the ending wasn't the greatest, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I have not heard of Ready or Not.
So Ready or Not is, oh boy, I don't think it's getting all that great critical review, but it is very much a horror humor, like a horror comedy that is just like the main focal character, which is the bride in the situation. So the premise is there's a woman who marries into a family, and upon every new family member coming in, they have to draw a card from this like mystical deck that says what game the family will play. And most of the games are like whatever. They're just like a goofy whatever game, like some board game or something like that. But if it comes up certain games like hide and seek, it means that the family members have to hunt the person who like just came into the family down all night and try to kill them. And so like it's like a hide and seek game where she thinks she's playing regular hide and seek, and then people start dying and she realizes they're trying to kill her, and her perspective on like it's a real delicate balance to blend horror and comedy like that. It's like something Evil Dead has done, and it's like a tightrope because it's really easy to do it poorly.
A lot of unsuccessful attempts out there.
Right. But this I thought was really well done. And there's just like so many times that she shares with the audience this sensation of seriously, like it's just ridiculous. But it's over the top, and it's, I would actually say, I liked Ready or Not more than I liked It 2. It Chapter 2, excuse me.
Okay.
So, you know, hey, it's still in theaters, and you can catch it.
Oh, wow.
But, it, you know, I'm sure it'll be out. It's not as prominent Hollywood blockbuster as It Chapter 2, so I think if you want to be patient, you'll see it come up on, you know, streaming services and whatnot before you know it.
Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was all right.
Nice.
Yeah. Well,
one more, or you want?
Let's do one more, and then we'll break.
So, the missus and I, DJ Tetchy and I, took a short vacation, a couple weeks ago to Cape Cod, which we'd never been to. So we found a nice Airbnb. We did a little research, picked out a couple things we wanted to do, and we went out there. We had a short walk, about a mile walk to the beach. There was a private beach with the rental, which was great. She's a beach person. She loves the sea. So we got to do some of that. But what was really interesting, there was something near there that she found out about that I thought sounded great. We went there, and it was really amazing. And I figured it was something very much goth-worthy, and it was a bit of a surprise to me. So I want to say that Edward Gorey, he lived in New York for a while, New York City. But at the end of his life, I think in like 1978, 1979, he bought a house in Cape Cod, and he lived there until he died in 2000. So after he died, they made his house into a museum, and you can go there, and you can check it out. So the Edward Gorey house is in Yarmouthport, Massachusetts.
That's a perfect name. Of course it is.
And it's the house he lived in for 20-some years, and it's really cool. You go in, and you have to pay a small fee. They have a small kind of store area with some interesting items for sale, books and mugs and pins and magnets and things you haven't seen before. Some interesting things that were new to me, and I'm a pretty big fan. So it's his old living room, it's his kitchen, it's his bathroom is the public bathroom that you can use, and
that's pretty cool.
It's really cool. It's like you can't go upstairs. They have the upstairs closed off, but they have all kinds of things. They have rotating exhibits that they do. So they were highlighting some of his nonsense, the art of nonsense or something like that. So a lot of his books are very playful with language, and they don't have what you would call a narrative that makes sense. So I'm thinking a lot about The Object Lesson, which is one of my favorite books. It doesn't really have a connecting narrative. It just is sort of a bunch of non sequitur, like weird events. And they were highlighting some of that in his work. And they, of course, had some first pressings, under glass and some things highlighted. But they have some of his early work there. They have some information about his childhood. They have, behind glass, on sort of not exactly a mannequin, but some kind of stand, sort of at his height, is a raccoon fur coat that he always depicted himself wearing. You can look at the coat and
that's amazing.
Yeah, and there's like a pair of his shoes underneath it, so you can kind of, this is the real stuff. And there's a long sign there about a little bit about the history. And after a while, his views changed on wearing fur, and he put it in storage for a long time. And he was his ethics changed, after some time. And he did own a ton of cats, and there's pictures of him with his cats and all kinds of stuff. There's a room almost exclusively dedicated to the work he did on mystery, and it highlights some of that from the PBS show. He did do the stage design and production for the Broadway production of Dracula.
Oh, cool.
With Frank Langella. So there's some material from that. There's some pictures of him and Frank Langella from like 1978. I've never seen Frank Langella look young before. It was weird. Young? Yeah, at one point. They had a life cast of Frank Langella's head in the bathroom for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know if that was related to the makeup work they did for the Broadway production or what.
That's cool.
But a lot of really interesting things, and part of what they do for the museum is they do have an Ashley Crumb Tiny's scavenger hunt. So they have a little booklet they give you, and they have certain visual or real objects that link to some of the deaths in the strip. So apparently they have references to everything in the different rooms. So the first one that's very obvious is under the first display case that you see. There's a rug with some legs sticking out from under it, and that's for, G is for George, who's smothered under a rug or something, so you can check that one off.
That's really cool.
There's all kinds of stuff like that. So, Amy fell down the stairs. There's a little body at the bottom of the stairs and things like that. So,
what a hilarious, really entertaining museum visit. This is really cool.
When we were there, there was a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. And the 8-year-old was so into that. Like, she was running around like, hey, have you guys found this and that? And, oh, I think this is the bear that ate Basil, and, shit like that. It was crazy.
That's fantastic.
So much enthusiasm for death.
Bless that child. I could hang out with that kid.
Yeah.
That kid probably is cool.
So I didn't think I would find any gothic, sort of popular things on Cape Cod, but Yarmouth Port, the Edward Gorey House, I would highly recommend it. It's worth your $7 or $8, whatever they wanted to get in. If you're into Edward Gorey at all, it's really fun. It's really cool to see where he actually lived. It's just crazy to go in there and read some of the information. So I highly recommend it.
Now, was the house huge?
It was sizable. It wasn't huge. It wasn't like a mansion. It was, kind of a big house. And you can go around some of the outside, and on the grounds there's like a metal sculpture of the penguin type creature from The Uninvited Guest, and stuff like that, and a little bit of information about he put some like stones on this hill in the lawn and then let it totally get overgrown, and they mowed it after he died, and there's this kind of a snake sort of thing going up the hill, and it's just like a bunch of bizarre, it's just like a weird eccentric artist guy and what he did with his home. It's really interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So was Cape Cod in general like kind of cool?
I had a good time there. It was kind of, a little touristy, a little pricey, a little odd, but I had a great time, and I don't know. It was, I don't know if it's cool exactly, but it's very, I don't have the right word. It's an interesting mixture of rustic and sort of people trying to be upscale. It's weird.
Okay, well, is Cape Cod the one? I get Cape Cod and Maine confused for their beach style. Is Cape Cod noted for their black pebble beaches?
I don't think so. I didn't see any black pebbles. They're pretty stony, though. There's a lot of rocks on the beaches that the sea washes up.
Okay, well, I think that like it might be Maine, but there's a thing where in Maine the beaches are not sand; they're like just pebbles.
You complained about that last time.
And fucking sand, bro.
Yeah.
Look, maybe okay, I'm fixating a little bit, but hey, you get some sand in your ear and then it changes everything.
I can't imagine.
It's bad.
What the fuck were you doing?
I was being a kid. Come on, dude.
Making sand angels.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so why don't we freshen up and we'll come back and rip into part 2 of this edition.
The Chartreuse experience.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Oh yeah. Let me bring this over here.
Yeah, man. Now, you want to do the red and yellow comparison, or just have some yellow?
We'll just go yellow, because I'll be destroyed. Okay.
That's fine.
Did you hit?
Yeah, it's going.
Oh, okay.
It's rolling.
Cool. Oh, good. So you got me copping to being destroyed after 2 drinks. All right, cool.
Well,
cool.
I can
My
start...
mystique. No,
Yeah.
no, it's good. I like this. This is the yellow, right?
It doesn't actually say it. You have to know by the color of the label, and or the actual alcohol.
This is way more chartreuse than this chartreuse.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Okay. Well, even though it being way less chartreuse in the bottle, but yeah, okay.
You can tell. Yeah, you can tell. If you just have one on its own, the yellow one, you're like, is this really the yellow? I can't tell, but you get it next to a bottle of the green, and it's clearly different.
Here you go, my friend.
Thank you.
I hope that wasn't like a huge helping of...
Oh, I'm already home.
Okay, there you go.
No, this looks fine.
Cool. Hey, I got another... I picked up another Tractor S4.
Another one?
I can't help it.
Wow.
Because I was like... Okay, so it started where I got... This is super nerdy, but I got a new hot air reflow station.
The fuck is that?
So, a soldering iron?
Yeah.
That has, like, this metal tip that gets super hot and lets you work on stuff. Well, the next tier is one that doesn't have a metal tip, or really you don't work with the metal tip. It blasts a variable breeze of incredibly hot air onto your work surface. And it's really good for desoldering, like pulling chips off a board, something where you have to get like a larger area of heat going. So I was like, well, now that I have a hot air reflow station, I need some kind of project to use it for. So I was like, fuck it, yeah, I'll buy another Tractor S4. So I spent like $60 or something and picked up one that was like broken, needs work, doesn't work. So like the broken part was the crossfader was dirty. I had to use some contact cleaner to clean that up. But I was really disappointed because it works perfectly after cleaning the fader, and that's that.
Okay.
So maybe I'll still take it apart, risk breaking it, whatever, because...
Why do you have to take it apart? It's a source of spare parts. Don't take it apart till one of them breaks.
Because I am me.
I know you're you.
And I have to take it apart.
So the hot flow, what is it?
This is so sweet. It is so delicious.
Good, right?
Yeah, so, hey, newsflash, everyone. Yellow Chartreuse is just fucking delicious.
It's good. It has... When you smell it, it has the weird herby medicinal kind of a smell.
I guess, yeah.
I can imagine, like, snake oil, salesmen selling something that smelled like this back in the day.
What makes me comfortable is so far outside of, like, the normal that, like, I smell this and I'm just like, oh, it smells so cozy. And it's like, it smells like snake oil. Poison, son. What are you talking about?
Not poison. Just it smells like it smells like an old remedy to me.
I had my first sip and this is so delightful. It's like...
It's good, right?
Yeah, this is... I mean...
It's not quite as herby or as... It has different notes than an absinthe or the regular chartreuse.
Yeah, this is like, it's sweet. I think this is refreshing. Is this even got alcohol in it? Come on.
It's like, what is it, 40%? It's on par with like a vodka or something, I believe.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, just a blast from the past, you had talked about the Jewel of Russia berry infusion.
Yes.
Which you so generously gifted to me.
Did Camara like it?
Yeah, we both thought it was incredibly, like, it's a delight. And what I was shocked to find out is that the vodka berry infusion, you think you're drinking a vodka cranberry. Well, yeah, it feels like vodka cranberry. I don't know what the rest of the berries are. I think it's a mix, but it tastes like a vodka cranberry, except that the alcohol level is still the same as vodka. Like,
I don't think it is. It's less, actually.
I thought it was 40.
I think it's 20.
Oh, is it 40 proof? Not 40. Oh.
I think it's 20%, it says on the bottle.
Tricky.
Yeah. So it's weaker than the regular vodkas.
It's still because I pulled a bottle out of the fridge and looked at them, and maybe I was mixing proof and percent, and maybe that's why it was off by that factor.
Could be.
It's such a delight.
Mm-hmm.
But
similarly,
yeah,
this is weaker than the regular chartreuse and a lot sweeter. And it's a lot milder, and I think people starting out in the world of chartreuse, this one is much more approachable. And I'd say if you like this, or if you find this too sweet or too weak, then you would step up to the normal chartreuse.
Yeah, so yellow is an 80 proof, 40%, and green is a 110 proof, 55%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there's quite a bit of difference.
It's a strong 55. It's
yeah, I mean, I was bitching. I still am not going to let that go. But we were out at a bar, and it was a high-end bar, and I'm still kind of like convinced that they had been diluting their green chartreuse a little bit.
I don't know. I thought it was on par. I had ice in mine, though, so I could have been wrong.
You know, maybe I was wrong, because, like, my notes from tasting the green chartreuse was, like, it was really approachable, it was sweet, it was easy to drink. They must have watered it down. But now having yellow, which is, like, really the one that is approachable and easy to drink.
Yeah.
Maybe okay, fine. Maybe I was ragging on them a little too much. Maybe it was a bit excessive. I tend to personalize things too much.
That's fine, you know.
Yeah.
So let me, for a brief moment, let me take us back to 1994. I hope there's some goths out there that can identify with me on this. I was dating my first girlfriend, who was kind of nuts, and she introduced me to a novel called Lost Souls by Poppy Z. Bright.
Okay.
And it's a vampire book. It's about New Orleans and vampires, and the vampires drink chartreuse. And they describe it as very sweet. And Chartreuse is not sweet. Yellow Chartreuse is sweet. So I think finally getting this bottle in 2019, now I finally made the connection to what the fuck they were talking about.
It all depends on how vampiric you are, I think. Because, like, I could have sworn that green one was yellow at the time, but now
at the bar?
Yeah. But having a refresh of what yellow tastes like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, yeah, yellow's
No.
like...
There's a different sweetness to this.
Yellow is fucking Skittles compared to green.
Yeah, the characters in the book that I remember they're always eating sweet things and candies and stuff, and they drink this. So I think they were talking about the yellow Chartreuse. Because the green Chartreuse, I mean, it has a little bit of sweetness to it, but the herbiness and I describe it as kind of a pine sol flavor. It's what I imagine pine sol would taste like. Because of the strong smell that it has and the herbal notes and the almost pininess to it is much more prominent in the green stuff, and the sweetness doesn't come through. You more get the herbiness. But this one is, I don't know how to describe it without comparing it to the yellow. How would you describe this to someone who hasn't had either?
I would say if you take, like, you're gonna need to go and find the cheapest ass yellow lollipop you can find, like the kind that they give you at the dentist office when you're a kid in the 80s.
Is it a flat one like coin style, or
yes,
is it
is
spherical?
It's coin style, baby.
Okay.
Coin style yellow lollipop,
Mm-hmm.
and just put that into some like grain alcohol for a little while, and just you want to like water it down enough so it's not like burning your throat so much. But that's kind of the flavor that I'm picking up. I mean, there's herbs in there too, but like dentist lollipop is definitely that's how I would say the yellow dentist lollipop is this flavor. And I think that really we all are vulnerable to the charms of yellow Chartreuse from our experience in the 80s with dentist yellow lollipops.
Well, now you're talking to a certain generation of people. I think people born in the 80s or 90s
all right,
probably
fine.
never got lollipops.
Then I will say the yellow Tide Pod is probably the closest thing that you guys will understand.
So rude.
I know. Thank you. Oh my God.
Okay, maybe we should go with the topic.
Yeah, okay. So I am a fake avid reader. Like, I'm always reading something, but by reading, I mean listening to audiobooks while I make my morning commute. My morning commute's not that huge. It's usually less than 30 minutes. It's like 20 minutes. But it gets me through a lot of books in 20-minute increments. Kind of maybe it's not fair that I listen to stuff in such ways, but I will say, did I mention that I was reading Fall or Dodge in Hell by Neal Stephenson?
I don't think so.
Well, I read that, and, you know, Neal Stephenson, going back to the reference in It, has traditionally, like, his endings have not been his strong suit. But in this case, he ended it really well. And it approach these overwhelming themes, they're overarching themes of are we living in a simulation right now? Mm-hmm. Without actually posing it so directly. Are we living in a simulation? And like, if we are living in a simulation, where did all of the biblical references that we have, where did they come from? And it's kind of interesting. It's something that I had mused on about, like, I had this thing where, let's say we're living in a simulation. In the early days of the simulation, there was a lot more hands-on intervention by, like, the programmers. And they manifested as angels and, like, religious figures who, like, intentionally nudged societies in the right direction. But as the simulation goes on, they got certain mandates from higher up that they're supposed to stay hands off and not interfere directly anymore. So like there's a bit of that theorization in there, but it was overall a pretty cool book. Definitely a lot to think about and pretty neat. But that's not the book I was going to talk about. The book I was going to talk about was this book by Jeff. I want to make sure I get it right because I've been drinking. Did I mention I've been drinking? Jeff Noon. He wrote this book called Vurt, and Vurt, and it is less known than like Neuromancer or other cyberpunk like books, but it really is a huge tone setter for like what the whole cyberpunk genre is. So basically there's these feathers. These feathers are sort of drugs that kind of put you into virtual reality to experience things. But virtual reality is not just virtual reality. It's almost like a parallel dimension that's as real as this one, but it's different. It's messed up. So they'll have like these feathers that they like put in their mouth and taste, and then like get pulled into these virtual circumstances. But it's a very highly aesthetic book. I think if you read it, you would not be able to resist its influence in the rest of your life, like seeing things framed in that way. So it's definitely cool. I definitely think that there should be at least one Vurt themed nightclub event with like a feather, like
Cool.
because there's different colored feathers for different stuff, and I'm trying to remember, the yellow feather is like kind of like an action adventure movie kind of experience. A pink feather is sort of like a porno feather, and a black feather is an illegal feather that will give you knowledge. But knowledge is both pleasure and pain, and it's like it's not entertainment exactly, because it can mess you up. But there's like multicolored feathers and stuff, and like it's crazy.
Whoa.
It made me want to score some feathers for sure. Totally jonesing for some feathers, let me tell you.
Would you say this would lend itself well to an adaptation on TV or film?
Yeah, I mean, I really like, after reading it, I was curious if there was any possibility for like a movie option, and unfortunately when I looked into it, it said, while something started, it stalled to the point where the author said, don't hold your breath, anybody. So yeah, unfortunately. It just chronicles so the way it works is, when you're in the Vurt, you can actually lose things. And when you lose something, you're given something back that is the equivalent value. And the value is like, the valuation system involves this like H constant. And the H is like, there's like lots of metaphors for drug addiction. So like the H is like a heroin sort of thing. But this guy, he lost his sister on a drug experience and came back with like an alien creature from the Vurt. And so his the whole arc is him trying to find the right feather to take the trip with the thing that he got as trade, to try to trade back for his sister.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy shit. But it was a really good book. So like, I definitely recommend, if you haven't read Vurt, go for it. It's quite good. It's challenging because it doesn't always make sense, and they hit you with like a fuck ton of crazy jargon from the future. So like, there is a curve where you're learning to speak their language, but it's really cool.
And who was the author again?
That's Jeff Noon. I don't think I said that.
N-O-N-E?
N-O-O-N.
Okay.
Yeah, noon. Like high noon.
Cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Sounds good.
It was dope.
Sounds like a filler until that Cyberpunk 2077 comes out.
I heard a rumor.
Uh-oh.
This could be bullshit. But in planning the like multiplayer aspect of it, because they started out with the single player.
Yep.
And in planning the potential for multiplayer, they were talking. I heard someone say that they were talking about a deck jockey role, where one of your network players plays exclusively on PSVR, like using the VR headset, and their goal is to hack your enemies while you're attacking them.
That would be fucking dope.
And mess with their augments.
Yeah.
So, like, I thought that was like, yeah, this is a game of the future. That's what I'm talking about. We'll see. Maybe 2078 will have that, but who knows? But I was pretty stoked about that. Like when they mentioned multiplayer, I was like, okay, so some kid's gonna tell me they fucked my mom.
Whatever.
All right.
You don't have to even try that
Sounds
shit
great.
if you don't want to.
I never do.
Yeah. Who cares?
But if there's a potential to have like, a deck jockey in there who's like seeing things in a totally different plane than what I'm seeing and like playing kind of a different but parallel game than I am, that'd be pretty cool.
And what if there was some kind of mapping to a Tractor S4?
Oh shit. Now we're talking. Laying down fat beats and fat plot lines?
It's whatever. Yeah. No, that could be fun. Yeah, I wasn't really interested in the multiplayer aspect, but oh man, that game looks dope. And I'm a Witcher 3 fan. Some people were turned off by the Xbox Witcher 2 controls, which I understand, and they're afraid of Witcher 3, but I'm telling everybody Witcher 3 was the shit.
I'll do it.
CD Projekt Red putting out quality shit, standing by it, patching it, DLC, nothing but goodness. I have the utmost faith in Cyberpunk.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
So I have to like I'm very, very looking forward to it. I don't know when it's going to finally hit, but I had heard that there was actually a reference that was it Ciri? Who was in the white-haired chick in Witcher 3?
Yeah, Ciri with a C, yeah.
She mentioned being in Cyberpunk.
What?
Like, yeah, there's this, I saw like a clip where she talked about, I was in a different place and like described it a little bit. And she was talking about being in Cyberpunk 2077 before coming back to Witcher. And
interesting.
Like, she was like, I never played Witcher. I really want to play Witcher 3 now. But I never played it, but I had heard that there was a reference that Ciri made, and he's like, come on, you're talking crazy. Let's not get into that.
That might be an issue of interpretation, because I started reading the books, the Witcher books that the games are based on, and Ciri does have a teleportation thing, and she was in the desert, or some other part of the world she totally wasn't familiar with. So, great.
What is Siri? Oh, because you said
The
Siri.
iPad.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Lovely. Just what we needed.
Yeah, thanks, Siri.
So that might not have been a direct reference. They might have known what they were going to get into, but it might just be a misinterpretation. I don't know. I'll have to review that. That's really interesting.
It was very interesting. It seemed like they had put an Easter egg that was referencing their future cyberpunk development.
Maybe.
So we'll see if Siri's in it. I've heard a rumor that there's more than one celebrity beyond Keanu Reeves who's in Cyberpunk 2077. And people are like, it better fucking be Matt Hardy. Please.
Who's that?
The dude who played Venom?
Oh. No.
That's not Matt Hardy?
Not Matt. Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's a fucking wrestler.
Is he?
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, so Tom Hardy, there's like, people have been psyched and saying like, we really hope it's Tom Hardy, but we'll see.
Who knows?
He seems gritty.
Yeah,
He'd be fine.
sure. I don't know.
I heard, do you hear anything? Are you a Spider-Man fan?
A bit, not huge, but yeah.
Have you heard about like this whole thing about how now Disney and Sony are not playing nicely and Spider-Man is ruined again?
I haven't been paying attention, but yeah, I've seen things. Yeah. I don't know.
I finally felt like they got kind of a good Spider-Man again, and it was feeling pretty good.
It was really good. Like, Far From Home was good. I still think Spider-Man Homecoming is probably the strongest film of all the ones I've seen. I think I've seen them all. And, of course, Into the Spider-Verse was good as well, but
Very different.
Spider-Man Homecoming really, I think, hit all the right notes and was really well done. And
Yeah.
Good shit.
And then, fuck it.
Tom Holland's like the perfect actor for the Spider-Man they're going for.
They're just going to wait a few years until he's too old, and then they'll get, like, Tobey Maguire again.
I don't know. Like, it would be nice if somebody did the more mature Spider-Man, out of the student phase into the, hey, I'm out of school, I'm trying to work and make a living, and, that Spider-Man that they kind of hinted at in Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, but, of course, Spider-Man 3 wasn't great. If they did that part right, where Mary Jane is really coming into her career and everything's kind of working out for them and they're getting along and,
I do have to say about Spider-Man 3, I feel like Sam Raimi, who's like a real artist, I feel like he's a very artistic soul. I feel like Spider-Man 3 is the example of what happens when the studio just like fucks with the artist constantly until the artist makes like, I think, self-deluded bad decisions. Like, oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Oh, let's do that. Yeah, and it's just like really bad moves that were made in order to try to appease a really pushy production company.
maybe. I don't know the story, but it seems like one of those things where you throw too much money at it, and if you don't have a clear vision of where it's going, it just snowballs out of control,
Yeah, I could also see that. Like, hell, all right, we want you to start on Spider-Man 3. And he's like, I don't have anything written. And they're like, it's cool. Just write it as you go. Start up. Start up, man. Jazz hands, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Too many antagonists, not enough. I don't know. The writing wasn't there, I guess.
Well, hey,
But-
we're going to have a Venom 2, I hear.
Okay.
I liked Venom 1. I liked Venom.
You liked it
Like-
more than I did.
People were pretty critical.
Yeah.
Like most people were like, Venom did better than it should have done. That's like mostly what they say. Like,
If I was a teenager, I think I would have liked it more. Quote unquote, as a serious movie, like,
well,
I
no,
couldn't
that's
get
the
with it.
thing. It wasn't. It was a black comedy that was not marketed correctly.
That's how you saw it. I didn't really see that in it as much.
Like, when Venom told him that, like, well, truth be known, I was kind of a loser back on my planet like you. Like, you can't have that line in a movie and not understand that you're making a comedy. Like, it's an action comedy and it's kind of dark, but it's still a comedy.
So you're saying Venom is just a buddy comedy?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good buddy comedy, but
No, it's not.
only as long as you recognize it in that context. That, like, you're looking at alien symbiote buddy comedy. They hate each other at first, and then they reach terms. It's formula, bro.
A little bit. It just, I didn't find it that funny. You know what I mean? Maybe it had 2 laughs. Maybe. I don't know. For me, it didn't hit the right marks.
I think that there were opportunities that were missed. Like, like the different symbiotes were slightly explored. Like how there was a yellow symbiote and a red symbiote. And like, actually, I think the red maybe wasn't explored because that they're saving for the sequel.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know.
Hey, we'll see.
We'll see. Exactly. We'll see
Yeah.
where it goes. Maybe it'll continue developing in its own direction and become something really different and cool. We'll see.
Yeah. So I do have a serious question for you, and it's a serious topic, and I shouldn't bring it up because it's it can bring stressors.
Well, let's have a drink first.
Yeah, let's take a sip.
And when that yellow chartreuse gets a little watered down, it's like nothing. It's like just sweet deliciousness.
Really easy to drink.
Yeah.
So the heavy topic is, what are your Halloween plans?
Fuck.
What are you doing? What is your costume, dude? Ever since your Green Arrow, I want to see what your next move is. I gotta know.
I don't have the budget to put behind anything.
What are you talking about? Well, you don't have to. It's not about monetary. It's about like creativity.
Yeah, but that still entails work that I don't have time to do.
Oh, it's a time budget?
It's both.
Yeah.
It's both. Like if I had $500, I know what I would do.
What would you do with $500?
I don't want to spoil that here.
Oh, you're not going to do it? You're not going to spend $500?
Not this year.
No, don't. Well, I want to sell a motorcycle to your wife, so
that's true.
Certainly don't spend $500 before she's done that. Please. Exactly. Hold on to that $500 for a couple minutes.
So, I have ideas, but I don't have time to do. I don't have the money to do that, and I don't have the time or effort to think of anything else right now. So, I don't think I'm gonna dress up or do anything too crazy. My friend Barb, who moved away from this area, quite a few years ago.
The Carolinas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, South Carolina, I believe. Wanted to do something and invited me to come along. So we're gonna hit Philadelphia and check out some sites to see there. Some of the big cemeteries, some of the interesting medical like oddities, natural museums with some weird shit. And maybe hit some haunted attractions. I think they have a prison. A decommissioned prison that they make into a haunt, and some cool shit like that. So that's going to be a little before Halloween, and then Halloween itself, I have no idea what's going on. But that's all I have planned. We'll see what else shapes up.
Yeah, I mean, when I mentioned my like overflowing calendar, like really from September until November 1st is like go time. Like there's so much shit happening constantly. So I think Obscuron, which is one of the, I don't want to call it one of the resident DJs from Ex-Humanity, has gone and like sort of started her own spin-off night. That's been really very pleasant. I don't think you've made it out to one yet, but
no, I think I'll be at this one though.
It's good. It's really good. It's an interesting thing, whereas because it is hosted at a gay, quote-unquote gay bar, the tourist contingent self-selects and is a lot less disruptive.
Mm.
You can still see tourists, but they're not going to ruin your time for sure.
It's a lot less of them, I imagine.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. Like, there's still a bunch of people who are, like, patrons of the gay bar who didn't even know that was happening that night, who then come across. But they're a lot less disruptive. They're not like the dudes who are, like, just standing in the middle of the drink, in the dance floor with a drink in their hand, not moving.
Yeah.
Or, like, trying to take cell phone pictures of people, like... It's a lot less of that, and it's good. So, like, I think that's on the 19th, and I'm definitely gonna do that. But hear me out. This is my, it's the kiss of death to share creativity before you manifest it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, when you start talking about what you're gonna do, it puts so much more pressure on actually, like, how you follow through with it.
Mm-hmm.
But my combination this year is... I'm going to do Joker Doom. Which is like it's a combination of Doctor Doom and the Joker, because I love it. I find like so much of creative design is a matter of surfing, right? Where pop culture creates these giant waves of influence, and you just like pick a big wave and get on it and take it in a weird direction. So everyone's talking about the new Joker movie that's coming out, which I have to say I'm not as dire as some people. Like, it looks like a different kind of movie. It looks like a lot more striving to have an art house feel and a lot more like seriousness to it. Mm-hmm. So for whatever, I really don't care that much about it. Like, I'll probably see it, probably not in theaters, but I'll probably see it eventually. But because I know that pop culture swell is there, I'm going to catch it and do Joker Doom, and it's going to be pretty cool, I think.
So are you going to have a green cloak?
It's going to be a green cloak,
purple underneath?
Or a purple cloak, and I'm actually going to, like, dye my own hair green.
Are you going to see the hair?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go cloaked.
Okay.
Because, like my natural hair is about right for a messed up Joker. Like, it's about right. I don't have as much hair as I used to. So, like, I think if I got a good green, like a pine green in what I have, it would be unnerving and disturbing. Like, and that I think that's a good look. with like a nice, I got some, I'm 3D printing a new Doom mask right now that's in marble PLA. And that's going to get jokered out, and I think it's going to be good. I think I can pull this off, but I have to make full Doctor Doom armor to go under the weird tunic thing.
Are you sure? Because you could just have the Joker suit on.
I don't think so.
No?
I think it's more the story of what if the Joker ended up going to the Doom planet and getting infused with the whatever. So, like, it's like overly conceptual, but it's like, yeah, it is overly conceptual, but it's like, what would the Joker have taken away from the, like, weird experience of being on that planet? And he'd still be fucked up, sure.
Yeah.
But that's the plan. We'll see how that works out. Maybe I'll be able to. I gotta get cracking on that shit.
Yeah, man.
But
start early, work out the kinks.
That's right. But it ties back to the S4. Actually, it's not really about getting another S4, and it's not really about being Joker Doom for Halloween. There are certain, like, knowledge achievements that I want to get. Like, I want to know how to craft that EVA foam armor. I want to really, like, have some experience in that. And I think that, like, having sort of a goal that is beyond what my current experience level is will be beneficial no matter how it turns out. Even if I'm frustrated as fuck when I'm doing it, because I do expect that. I mean, when you did your Green Arrow, that was like... Was that the greatest Halloween of your life? Was that like the... That's pretty fucking amazing.
Well, thank you. Most of that was Chinese eBay sort of store-bought. And then I did some modifications to bring it more in line with what I was going for. And I had a friend of ours, Nothing Works, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Jason made the... I did it 1 year a few years ago, and then I waited a couple years, and I kind of made my modifications and tried it again. And the second time is when Jason made the quiver, and I did a lot of custom work on the bow and the arrows and all the other stuff. So, that was not totally crafted. That was mostly store-bought with some alterations. So that had a significant budget behind it as well. That, this year it's just not going to happen. But it was fun. The first year I used fake facial hair, and the second time around I had grown out something that worked. So that was cool. It wasn't as blonde as it could have been, but I have kind of a weird red beard, mixed colors.
I say you go ahead and bleach your beard and mustache that you have now and fucking do that shit one more time.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm telling you.
It's fun, but I don't want to keep doing the same thing again and again. So.
Joker arrow. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm not so into that, but maybe.
Could you cut one of your arms off?
Would
that be a thing to do?
Do old GA from Dark Knight Returns?
Now, that's what I'm talking about.
It's a thought. You have the hair for that, actually.
All right.
Because he has more of a ponytail and
not so much on top.
No, yeah, exactly. You dye it gray and cut off an arm, and you can be old GA.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll do it. You know what? I'll do it.
But speaking of DC,
yes, that's right. You know what? Did you get your DC Plus or what do they call it?
DC Universe.
Did you get a subscription?
Yeah.
Or you did?
Yeah, I've been a member for a few months. Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it. It's worth it for me. I really enjoyed watching the first season of Titans without really paying for it.
Nice.
And I found a lot of value in the fact they were doing Swamp Thing and the fact that there was a bunch of comics online you could read. So I went for it and enjoyed Swamp Thing. As it came out, I thought that show was really well done.
I'm so fucking pissed off that it's fucking tragic that it was canceled like in the middle of filming the second episode. It was so strong. It was so good.
It was really good. It was great. I think they made a mistake, but there's some kind of internal politics, and who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't about the show or the response to it, so that's really sad.
When you get really good people running it, and then those people are not happy, you have this problem where you're not going to get that same group, you're not going to get that level, and what do? And you just, okay, it's not happening again. It was a one-season arc, but it was really good.
It was a good arc.
So yeah, speaking of DC Plus, Titans
Season 2 just came on.
Just came on.
I only caught the first episode, but good stuff so far. They introduced Deathstroke, which I think they got a good actor to play him. They didn't do much with him yet in the first episode, but the suit looks badass. Like,
it does look good.
Maybe the best visual representation. I think Arkham Origins, the third video game, had up till now maybe the best visualization in a non-comic book medium, but I think this one takes the cake. I mean, the suit that they showed is just
it looks good.
Really, really well done.
So,
but I have to say, Sir Jorah Mormont as Bruce Wayne is not doing it for me.
Yeah, we both shared this opinion where he came on screen and we were both like, they cast a fucking banging Alfred.
Yeah.
And then he calls him Bruce and we're like, what the fuck did he say? What'd you just say to me?
Yeah. And the accent just... Woo.
Yeah.
That accent is rough. If they just let him speak in his English accent, it would have been great. But he's trying, and he needed more time for that. I don't know what he's trying to do, but it's not working.
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. I think he's a great actor. I mean, there's that. But like, I just couldn't visualize him as Batman kicking some ass. I just couldn't.
Yeah, that's a little tough. He doesn't really have the broadness or the presence.
Yeah. Looking at it, like I looked at his shoulders in his suit in the scene where he's talking with Dick Grayson, and I just thought he's not physically robust in the slightest.
Not especially. I mean, he's not a tiny guy, but he's not imposing.
No, right. So, like, he's definitely not Batfleck, a.k.a. Fat Man.
Well, they were going for... I know what they were going for in those movies. They almost got there, but it wasn't... I didn't do it for me.
I will say, he wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be.
Affleck?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not really. He was okay.
I mean...
I don't know.
I think... Yeah, there's some level of, like, what if you kind of tried to cast an Elon Musk level awkward person as Batman? And I could see that that's the way that Affleck had played it, and it was okay.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I don't know.
But back to Titan. Is it a spoiler to say that I really appreciated that they resolved the conflict of Season 1 in the first episode of Season 2?
I don't think that's much of a spoiler, yeah.
Because I really don't like shows like... I'm wondering if it's like a very American thing that like one conflict arc should be one season. And when they stretch it out to like an ongoing conflict that is more than one season, you kind of get this feeling like the story is going nowhere. It's just like, it's like almost like a reality show where you're watching these people who are real time trying to like combat this, and there's no promise of resolution. It's like they're trying to fight this thing, and like there's setbacks and whatnot, and it's going on forever. But I really appreciated that like they set Season 2 free from Season 1. Like they wrapped up Season 1 in the first episode of Season 2, and now they're on to like more like what is the actual focus of Season 2.
Right. Yeah, you bring up a point that as a child of the 80s, I'm kind of sick of arcs. I kind of appreciate the episodic nature of the shit I grew up with, some of the comics I grew up with. They didn't have these huge arcs that went through a whole year of bullshit before we got a resolution. I like the smaller stories, the 1, 2, or 3 part, things that are a little quicker,
Yeah, I think a really good series is one where each episode stands on its own in addition to feeding into what is happening on a grander scheme. That's really what like gets loyal viewership, is like, the
grander scheme seems to be the only thing people focus on these days.
Yeah.
Creatives focus on. But I wish there was more, I don't know.
That's like, if an episode doesn't, like, that's really the crux of it, is if an episode does not stand on its own as entertaining, then you will never get any more new viewers. You can only lose viewers as time goes on because people are not satisfied with how you're like bringing that arc along. So like if you're not doing episodes that you can just jump in and watch and be like, oh, that was really cool, that was funny what they did, what did that mean, I'm curious about that really is the way to do it.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think, there was, like, when you were saying it, there was something, it almost brought to mind another series that had a really good episodic, like, you don't have to catch all of them, but if you do, you get, like, more Easter eggs that are building towards this overarching plot, but you don't have to. You could just catch one off, and that one is hilarious / interesting in and of itself. And of course, I have no idea what that series is. I've completely forgotten. But
The Muppet Show.
Probably. Oh shit! Did you watch any of the Dark Crystal?
I haven't yet. No.
It is fucked up.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is fucked up.
I should get like really high and just be all fucked up by it.
You absolutely should.
All right.
But it's not going to be a good time. I mean, it's a prequel, okay? So, like, the Dark Crystal starts, and there's 2 Gelflings left total. Dark Crystal, the whatever Chronicles, I don't know, whatever they call it, the new Dark Crystal series starts, and there's like multiple clans of Gelflings, and there's all these societies, and all you know when you're watching is, yeah, this shit gets ruined. So anytime they show you something that's like a beautiful depiction of the different societies, you're like, oh yeah, that's tragedy right there. That's going to be destroyed.
Well, that's because you have foreknowledge. If you can let go of that and just live in the moment, it won't hit you till later, right?
You just get a few episodes in, and Gelflings are dying, and like
genocide.
You're like, oh shit, this is not exactly a kids show.
Oh no,
I
wouldn't imagine.
It's totes not.
I mean, the movie really isn't a kids' movie to begin with.
Well, not exactly, except that it's a kid-friendly arc where like the bad guys get the upper hand, and then like a balance is found, and everything is okay. Equilibrium is restored. Whereas this is all about the build towards the bad guys getting the upper hand.
Okay.
And so, like...
It's going to be depressing.
There's, like, Gelfling racism. Like, the different, like, tribes are, like, real super shitty to each other. Like, they all think that the other tribes are less people than they are. Like, I haven't gotten through it. I got a few episodes in, and I was like, this shit's too much for me. I'm too sensitive for this. I gotta stop.
Whoa.
I can handle horror and stuff, but when I see, like, the reflection of humanity's true nature in things, I'm like, oh, fucking count me out. I can't handle that. Can I get some Chucky, please?
Nice.
Yeah, I can. Chucky, Child's Play.
Yeah?
Did you see the new one?
Haven't seen the remake. Gonna watch it with the wife very soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I it's on my short list of, are they rentals? Do you call them rentals? Whatever.
Sure, let's call them rentals.
Yeah, we'll call them rentals. Yeah, it's on my short list of rentals when it becomes available. But, so like I can handle that because like, yeah, the chances are in my life, I'm not going to see a doll come to life and start killing people. However,
chances are.
Like a corrupt bureaucracy that starts like systematically oppressing people and abusing people. It's kind of plausible.
Hits too close to home.
I mean, I don't know who did it, but I saw the posters for Trump 2024.
Jesus.
And I was like, oh, that's creepy. Oh no, that is creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey. Have you ever done jury duty?
Yeah.
How was it?
I liked it. I don't know why people bitch about it. Just shut the fuck up, go there, and you might have fun, because I had a lot of fun.
I'm kind of... I just got selected, and I have to say, I'm kind of stoked about it.
Yeah.
Though, I will say, I'm a little pessimistic for my chances. It's come up for me 2 other times. And unfortunately, both of those times I was eliminated before I saw any action.
It happens a lot. And it's,
like,
you know...
So for the folks playing at home, when you get jury duty and you're there and you're selected to be a part of a jury, if the defendant accepts a plea bargain as presented by the prosecution, the trial's over. The thing that you were selected for is done. You're over.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't become real for the person until they have to go to court and they realize, oh shit, this is really happening. So then they do it right when they're supposed to be picking people for the jury, and then the judge is like, oh, okay, you guys can all leave. Thanks for your service. Get the fuck out. So,
I mean, honestly, I have next week, starting Monday is my first jury day. And my work is incredibly supportive. They're like, yeah, do your civic duty.
Well, they have to be. They can't bitch at you about it.
Well, they can't bitch. But, you know, if you're an hourly employee, they don't have to pay you. I'm not hourly, but there's certain gray areas about, how it's handled if you're an exempt employee, and I don't really understand all that. So if it comes down to it, I'll take vacation time so I can make sure I'm getting paid.
No, you don't have to do that.
Well, I just want to make sure. I want to get a full paycheck. That's my jam.
Fair enough.
Getting a full paycheck, I'm totally into. But the way my work works, they're like, well, how about this? Bring your laptop to the courthouse and,
No. You're not supposed to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can't do that?
I don't think so.
Oh, shit. Well, I was just going to try to get caught up on some work emails.
You can try, but
They're going
I'm
to say no?
pretty sure that's frowned upon.
Stop doing that?
Maybe it's changed since the last I was down there, but
it's been a while.
give it a shot.
But anyhow, they're supportive, and they're like, you're not on vacation. You didn't choose to do this. This is not like your time.
Yeah.
This is something you've been selected to participate in as part of your civic duty. And I really appreciate that. I think maybe my work is stressful enough that, like, the notion of getting several days in the hole is threatening. Like, I feel nervous about that, but
No.
fuck it. I mean, I'll have more work when I come back, but it's annoying. But yeah, I'm kind of stoked. And I'll do a future installment to say what came of it when I did it. But you know what?
Podcast gold right there.
Yeah, you know what always gets. I'm gonna ruin it for everybody. Do you want to know how to get out of jury duty?
I mean, you can go there if you want to.
It's tough.
It's not, but I wouldn't advise people to try.
No, it's not about trying.
First, go and be on a jury and see what it's all about. I'm telling you, I had a blast.
Okay. There is a certain knowledge that if you have it, you will almost be guaranteed to be eliminated from the jury. So, like, I see your skepticism or whatever, but
Go ahead. I don't know.
No, I'm not gonna say it
Okay.
because I don't want people to use it.
Well, let me just say,
Okay.
I had a great experience.
I want to have a great experience.
This was many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was selected to be on the jury. This was my first time, actually. So I didn't know what was what. Went down there, was selected, went on the jury, went to trial, no plea bargain, went through the whole trial, rendered a verdict, right? This trial was pretty incredible. It was super street level shit. It was a crackhead
Okay.
who was testifying against a crack dealer's enforcer. And the allegation, it was the charge of something like assault in the first degree, which we convicted him of a lesser included charge because we couldn't say that he meant to cause serious bodily harm, which was an element of the charge.
Okay.
So I think we convicted him of assault in the second degree. But a crackhead's enforcer, we convicted of beating a crackhead with a, like, Eureka vacuum cleaner. And we got to examine the vacuum cleaner.
Get out of here.
They couldn't get any prints off the vacuum cleaner,
Oh.
but we got to look at it. We got to examine any evidence we wanted to. We got to debate about it. We got to figure out what we all thought. We all agreed that we thought this guy did it. We didn't know what his intentions were, but we knew he beat this guy, and it was obvious he had his head was broken open. There was photos of the wounds and all that. So I thought it was awesome. It was a great experience for me. It was a lot of fun. It was something different, and it was cool.
Tell me you were the guy who was like, Your Honor, can we examine this vacuum? Can we check out this vacuum, please?
I don't think we had to talk to the judge.
Okay.
I think we were deliberating. The trial was over. We were deliberating, and they said, if you want to see the evidence, you can ask for whatever. And it wasn't me. I think somebody asked if they could see it. And I think I only spoke up once in the whole process to the other people, and I don't know. It was really interesting. You do all have to agree, and you have to figure out what's going on, and if someone isn't agreeing, it just continues until, you know, either beat them down or you can't come to an agreement, and that's how it works. So I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was really cool.
Did you agree?
Yeah, we all got to the same point. We couldn't all agree that of the original charge, but there was a lesser included charge that we could all agree on, and we agreed that was what happened.
The enforcer beat his ass with a vacuum.
Yes.
Whether he wanted to kill him or just give him a vacuum beating.
Right. Exactly.
That's amazing.
It was fun. I'm telling you, it was fun.
I'm really, I have to admit, I've kind of always wanted to be on a jury.
It's really cool. It's an experience everybody should have. Even if it's boring, it's something different, and you don't have to work. This is what you do. You don't have to go to work. Do this crazy thing instead. It's fun. I'm telling you, it's fun.
I'm stoked. That's my Monday. I'm doing it.
I'm pulling for you.
Thank you. I hope I get in. We'll see. We'll see if they take me.
Oh, if they don't ask you,
they ask stupid questions like, do you believe that police people are more trustworthy than regular people?
They will ask that.
And I'll be like, I don't know. Police people are regular people? And they're like, I'm afraid you gotta go.
That's the right thing, though. And
they're going to say, I gotta go.
The judge will instruct you not to give any more weight to a police witness than a civilian witness. They will instruct you to that effect.
But can't the prosecution and the defense eliminate two witnesses without explanation?
There's some there's some things they can do, but you're an older man. Mm-hmm. It depends on who the victim and who the defendant is, but, if you look presentable, they'll probably love you. They'll want you on the jury.
I'm going to wear my regular work clothes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. I don't know. If you might want to dress up and look proper and say, "Hey, pick me,"
No, that's my work clothes. I look pretty presentable.
Dress like a serial killer. That's my advice.
Like a Tyvek suit, like go with that. Well, they let me in like that. It would be
I mean like a button-up shirt with collar.
I do. Yeah, that's my normal. That's my 9 to 5. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't wear a tie usually.
No, not a tie.
I have occasionally, but not usually.
Can wear a tie, but no jacket.
Yeah, come on.
Michael Douglas, Falling Down.
Wait, what about a jacket and a t-shirt under it?
You gotta dress like
Don
DJ
Johnson.
Recluse.
Oh my God, they'll kick me right the fuck out. That's it for me. That's it.
All right, we're a little drunk.
Yeah.
Do you have any last topics, and then we'll wrap it up?
No, bro. Let's close it.
Okay. So jury duty is recommended. We're pulling for Mechno.
Yeah.
And I guess that's all we got for these kids. But Chartreuse is wonderful in any form.
Absolutely.
And St. Lawrence Spirits is rocking it. Their Verte Absinthe is a very nice example of a green absinthe. I think it's pretty straight up, normal. And what would you say about it?
It's a very approachable. It's not a challenging green. When you drink it, it doesn't have like a lot of weird notes. It doesn't have like heavy licorice. You have like is that kind of licoricey, but it's not beating you over the head with it.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good representation of what a green should be.
Yeah, it's nice. And
the red is super interesting to me. I think it's really, really good stuff.
I would put this at my number 3 absinthe.
Nice.
I'd say Matahari is my number 1.
Yes.
Matahari is so good. Followed by probably Cibor, which is a Czechoslovakian absinthe. Followed by this.
Nice.
It's tough because there's also like Versinthe Blanc that is like a bullshit absinthe. It's like white and it's fucking sweet as hell.
Okay.
It's not really an absinthe, so let's not put it on that list.
Fair enough.
All right. But yeah, that's that. So I'm not thirsty anymore. Okay, I'm thirsty. But...
All right. Well, we got one more of these before Halloween rolls around, so we'll get some spooky topics lined up, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah. Peace out.
In your arms forever, from the lascious well-run. the gallery and sunlight.